Hello and welcome to Chuck's Diecast Car and Model Reviews. Today we are taking a look at one of the most famous, rare, and expensive cars in the world, at least in real life. This is a model of the Ferrari 250 GTO, and this model is made by Hot Wheels. The Ferrari 250 GTO, as I said, is one of the most expensive cars in the world for car collectors. I was at an auction in Monterey, what was it, about 4 years ago or so, and one of these sold for $55 million. And from what I understand, some have sold, exchanging in private hands and not at auction for even larger amounts. That's because it's just the apex of front-engined Ferrari sports cars of the late 50s and early 60s. It was, of course, a race winner. It is a beautiful car, and they only made, I think, 35 or 37 of them. And I think they're just kind of spectacular looking cars. This was sort of one of the last cars that you could, in terms of professional racing, drive it to the track and then race it and drive it home, which is another unique thing about this car. Of course, this car is called the 250 because that is the displacement of each individual cylinder in the car, and it has a V12. So it has 3 liters and about 275 horsepower. So by modern standards, it'll get its doors blown off by, a modern SUV almost. But it just does not have the cachet and style and beauty of the 250 GTO. I've actually seen plenty of these cars. My guess is I've seen at least half of the GTOs ever made, because I believe it was 2007 or 2008. I was in Monterey, California for the Historics weekend. It was the anniversary of Ferrari, so they had a special weekend for Ferrari, and they had a race that was just basically Ferrari GTOs. And there were, I believe, 16 or 18 of them on the track. So if you extrapolate that by using modern values of the vehicles, seeing that 16 Ferraris at $50 million a piece, that's $400 million worth of Ferrari that I saw out on the track. So that was pretty cool. And the sound of this V12 is a beautiful thing. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the model here. Now, this is a Hot Wheels. It's not a Hot Wheels Elite. I believe this is kind of one of the earlier Hot Wheels Ferraris that was made, when they were, licensed to make Ferrari models. And it's not as good as some of the later ones. It's just a little simplistic. But we'll take a look at it here. First of all, the paint is okay. Not great. It has an okay sheen to it. Not bad, but it's okay. You can see the wire rims, and that's done pretty well considering they're made of plastic. You can see that they are center lock wheels. No branding on the tires, and you can't see in there whether or not any details on the brakes. But if you look under here, you'll see that there is a representative of a brake disc or drum under there. Notice that it does not have wind down windows. It has sliding rear windows, which would indicate, it's probably plexiglass, and this is a competition level GTO. This badging here is a sticker and not an actual badge. Taking a look at the front, detail is pretty good here. The driving lights at the bottom there next to the intake look good. The auxiliary cooling intakes look pretty good, and also the headlights look good as well. You can see that they have chrome surrounds there along with the plexiglass, so that looks good. So again, that's all right. The badging there again is a sticker. Taking a look at the rear here, you'll see that unlike most Ferraris, GTOs had two small stacked taillights as opposed to one larger single round taillight or two taillights side by side. They did a good job of detailing the quad exhaust, so that is good for Mattel for doing that. I like the filler cap here. You can open this trunk. Let me see if I can get it open. It's fighting me. Okay, there you go. And you can see that as a GT racer, back in the day when you raced at Le Mans, you were required to carry a spare tire, and that's about all that the trunk can carry is a spare tire. Taking a look at the engine now, and this is the V12 engine. Detail on there is not particularly awesome, okay? It's you can see the velocity stacks, the black valve covers, so there's not much there in terms of detail. Unfortunately, there are, perhaps the higher end GTO model from Hot Wheels had a little bit more detail in it. I'm not sure. But when you take a look at the interior, let's go ahead and open both doors here. You can see that they actually fairly faithfully detailed the interior of the door, which instead of having a door handle, it has a pull strap to unlatch the door, which was common back in the day. Looking at the interior, nice detail there for the pedals. The dash looks good, and the steering wheel looks all right, although it's a little bit kind of chunky. It would have been nice if they'd made the spokes of the steering wheel a little bit slimmer. You can see the shifter there in the center console, and of course these are various representations of switches and so on for the driver. Seats look a little bit on the cheesy side. I guess there really wasn't too much to see in terms of seats on a GTO. I'd have to look a little bit more closely at one to see if there's actually more detail in the seats. But, again, this is an okay model. It's I plan on getting a much better model, maybe a CMC or something like that model here. But you can see here that they did do a fairly credible job of doing the underside there. That is a good job there. And again, it is a good model, just not a great model. And although it will be expensive, I'll be getting myself a newer and slightly more detailed version of this car. Well, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this review. And, well, if you did, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Have a great day.